Hi everyone. So this is, I don't even know what number, it's probably number 5 or 6 of my Sarah series. And this one is about the abortion survey that I posted on Facebook. I am so thankful that 18 of you took that survey. I was expecting 10 at most, maybe even half of that. So I'm thankful for a decent amount of honest results. If you clicked on this video, I hope you're not watching this so you can, comment below about how I shouldn't speak about this or anything, because I think things like this should be talked about. Personally, I think the hard stuff should be talked about in a gentle, loving way, of course, because think about it. If you've had an abortion, or you could put yourself in that place if you haven't, I don't think any one of us would want to be attacked because of that choice. It's a choice we make. Some of us, unfortunately, don't have a choice and miscarry or have stillborns, which is another thing altogether, and that's the most heartbreaking thing I could ever imagine some days. But if you've made that choice, I'm going to talk about how I don't want you to carry guilt because of it. But before I get to the heart of it all, I want to share the results of the survey, and I'll try to make it quick because I know it can get kind of hard to focus when I'm just sharing a bunch of numbers and percentages, but there's only about 9 or so questions, so it won't take long. Of the people who took the survey, 2 of them had an abortion, so most of them, 16 of them, did not have an abortion, but they did, all of them, know someone who has had an abortion. I think that's important because nowadays almost everyone knows someone who's had an abortion. It's very prevalent nowadays. The third question was, who paid for the abortion? I thought this was an important question because sometimes, at least from my experience, it's like the father of the baby or maybe the mother, and sometimes people focus on the mother who's chosen to abort a child, but they don't focus on the people who've paid for the abortion, which can weigh just as heavily. But only a quarter of them were the mothers. Most of the people who did not have an abortion did not know who paid for the abortion. So that one was kind of a harder question, I think, for people, because if you only know someone who's had one, you probably didn't ask who paid for it. It's not really a topic of conversation over the dinner table or anything. The people who've had an abortion, I'll talk about if they regretted it later on in the video. And for the people who paid for the abortion, every one of them regretted it. And number 6 was, if you've had an abortion, did you consider adoption? One of the 2 did consider it and the other did not, which I think is a pretty common result, even though I had only 18 people. If I were to ask 100 people, it would probably be about half of them considered it, half of them did not. That would be my guess. Number 7 was, whether you considered adoption or not, if you chose abortion, could you explain why you made that choice? Nobody was willing to explain how they came to that choice. And specifically of the 2 people who did who did have an abortion, they probably maybe weren't comfortable sharing that, and that's fine. I am curious if anyone wants to share their abortion experience, not for any weird reason. I want people to feel comfortable sharing it. You don't have to post it in a public comment if you don't want. I'm just curious if you considered adoption, why you chose against it. I just want to get inside the thought process because I'm awfully curious why abortion seemed like a better option. I will not judge you. I think it'll become pretty clear, if it's not already, that I don't agree with abortion, but I want to know why adoption is not considered. I have some theories, and we might touch on that a little later in the video. But I want to hear it from you. I just want to listen. I'm not here to talk at you about anything. I really just want to hear. If you're willing to share, you can comment. I would keep it anonymous if it's about someone else, and I would definitely not cross the line of disrespect, because I'm pretty sure I have a setting where I will either accept your comment or not, so I won't post it if it's rude, and I will report it if it's disrespectful or harmful to anyone. I don't want it to become a platform for that. Number 8, do you believe the aborted fetus was a living human being? I'll talk about this one a little later as well. And number 9, if you've had an abortion, have you had children before or after? And I gave the option of adopting a child as well, but only one of them had a child biologically and the other did not have a child. So it's harder with very few of the people who have had an abortion to really get a big picture, but I am really pleased with the results anyway because they're varied, and I feel like it was a generally accurate representation of this whole topic. Some notable things I figured out while looking at the results of this survey, there were 2 things. One, of the 2 people who've had an abortion, they both regretted it, but only one of them is sure that the fetus was a human being. The other one was not sure. And of the 16 people who have known someone who has had an abortion, 11 of them also believe it was a human being. The other 5 people were not sure, or they said it was not living. I know some of you who are watching this have had abortions or paid for abortions. And I also know that politics in many places in the world say that it's a woman's choice. And in the end, yes, we are all free to make that choice. And we all either believe abortion is wrong or it isn't. I'm pretty sure there's no one kind of in the middle. And if there's not that many. Usually we're pretty sure about where we stand. But I will say that some of you said you didn't consider adoption. And I want to say that adoption is always an option. Yes, you'll have to endure pregnancy and labor or a C-section, and you may have to look the baby in the face before the child is given to parents who really want that baby, and that could really make it hard to give that child away. But there are closed adoptions, partially open adoptions, and open adoptions. And if you have questions about those, I don't know a lot, to be honest, but I could always help you figure out what those 3 options entail if you're considering it. No system is perfect, but with these 2 people in the survey saying they regret abortion, I don't know why they wouldn't have liked this option to adopt or to adopt the child to someone else. I haven't had an abortion myself, but I've known people who have, and I know enough to know that you always walk away changed after, physically, emotionally, or both. Even if you believe the fetus was not a living human being, physically and or emotionally, things change. But there's always another option some people don't consider. What if I told you you can be a parent, that you are capable and strong, and that you are worth looking up to from a little child? I don't know how much money you have, if the baby daddy is in your life, or if you even like children. I don't know if you're afraid of seeing the man who hurt you every time you look your child in the face. I just know that abortions don't get rid of problems. Abortions get rid of fetuses, people. Even if you believe the fetus wasn't a living human being, you are still where you are. You're either hurt by the man that hurt you still, or you still can't maybe support the child on your own yet. If that really is you, why not think about adoption? And I'm here to tell you, don't feel guilty. Every person in the world messes up in something, and everyone has something they could feel guilty about. But all I know is I follow a God named Jesus who died, not just for our sin, but for our guilt too. We're now faultless because of him. And some of you may not believe in God or Jesus, but I do, and I'm not sure what you believe. But I have to ask, wouldn't you want a chance to admit your sin and guilt to God, to set yourself free from what you're putting on yourself? I'm not sure if whoever's watching this, if you've had an abortion or not, or if you've actually gone through with it, or just like if you've thought about it. But I don't really care about that as much as I care that you let go of the guilt. All it's doing is leaving your past on your back. And there's peace when you let all of that go. If you want clarification, have a question, or have a video request, please comment below or message me privately. I've gotten a couple of other requests, so look for those in the next few weeks. Below I'll post the responses to the closed survey and a link to a compelling 30-minute video by Ray Comfort. It's been out probably for a few years is my guess. Anyway, I look forward to next time, and I hope you enjoyed listening to this video. It might have opened your eyes to some things. It's not like ooh, this is a fun video, let's watch this and have a laugh, but it's something that people don't talk about, so I hope that maybe your eyes were opened or that you maybe feel more peace. I think most of all from this video, if you're watching this, I hope that you, even if it's not about abortion, that you know that you have a way to put your sin and your guilt off of your back. I look forward to next time, and I'll see you later.